So, you know who's picked for Attorney General? Jeff Sessions is under fire for not disclosing that he had 2 meetings with the Russian ambassador during the presidential campaign. Don't let me phrase it. Let's just say that during his confirmation hearings, he wasn't, how should I say it? Okay, well, take a look.
If there is any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government in the course of this campaign, what will you do?
Senator Franken, I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians, and I'm unable to comment on it.
So now, Democrats are calling for Sessions to resign. Some Republicans want him to recuse himself from investigations into what? Russia's campaign involvement. So, does he have to go?
Yeah. He has to go. He does.
It's a formality. I don't know that he was a part of the campaign, right? So there's that technicality. But
the hint of impropriety is there.
Why not just, and also, why not just say that then? Say, you know, I did have communications with Russia, but not in a campaign, official campaign.
The question was,
well, you could give extra information.
Of the campaign.
Right,
so I don't know that he was
it.
misleading under oath, but I do think that he has to recuse himself from any and all investigations.
But I do think, Sonny, the second...
He was lying under oath. I think that's perjury.
But the second part of the...
You're saying it's not deceit then,
I don't know that it's lying, only because the question posed to him was, if you knew of anyone involved in the campaign, a part of the campaign. Okay. He was a senator. He wasn't part of his campaign. That's the technicality.
But doesn't it look shady if you did have communication in another capacity and you chose not to convey that information? If that were me, I would say, look,
Sonny,
the
first part of his answer, I agree with what you said, but the part that I found deceitful is the second part.
Yes.
Because when he answers, he then says, hey, I have been called a surrogate, and I haven't had... So that one is me. But I find it also interesting, your legal perspective, because the first thing that popped to mind is, as just a regular citizen, if someone said, have you had, has there been contact with Russia? I would make sure to clarify. I would say, you know, I have had contact with Russia, but it's in regard to this other hat I wear on this.
Right. And if he has affirmatively said that he was a surrogate for the campaign,
he's the head law enforcement agent, so you think he'd think of that.
The point is, why did he lie? He didn't have to lie, right, as you just said.
Yeah.
He could say, yes, we all talk to ambassadors from various countries. Same with that guy Flynn, also lied. Why are they lying when they don't have to? What do you think? To protect the president, perhaps?
When it's sketchy.
To protect Trump?
No. You know,
Let me remind everybody about Watergate. Because Nixon, at the top, the question is, what did he know and when did he know it? So Haldeman, Ehrlichman, and John Mitchell, who was his attorney general, all lied for him. And then we found out he knew, too. So I think that this is unraveling very, very quickly now.
See, I don't have a problem, though, that he had the communication. Like, for me, I don't have a problem that in his capacity as senator, you know, of the Armed Services Committee, I don't mind that he had this communication. That's appropriate. That happens all the time. Last year, the Senate had over 25 conversations with foreign ambassadors. That's fine. They do it all the time. What I have a problem with is this sin of omission, where when you were asked specifically about whether you had involvement in a campaign capacity, you may not have.
That's actually not what he asked. He said, if you found out...
Which he didn't answer.
Which he did not answer. If you found out that someone in the campaign had communications with Russia, what would you do? So instead of saying, well, this is what I do, he said, well, you know, I don't know much about this, but I am just, you know, it was a whole lot of that. And also, Joy, you asked an interesting question. I don't think it had anything to do with you-know-who.
Really?
I think they lied because they knew that no matter what, they were going to get in. So I think they just took advantage and said, we don't have to, who's going to question us?
But it doesn't
Who's going to question us?
It doesn't benefit them because now, you
but
have Jason Chaffetz now and Kevin McCarthy and lead Republicans coming out and saying you need to recuse yourself.
Yes, but remember,
But
remember, when this was going on, everybody was on board. Everybody was on board. So why would they tell? Why would they? You know, why would they say yes? This is what happened. Because they know even no matter what they do, they don't have to say anything. They can say, yeah, I was shaving my backside when she called. And they they know they're going to get it because nobody's going to ask any questions.
Doesn't it strike? I mean, where the flags should be going up. It's like 3 of them now are involved with Russia up to the wazoo.
And that's
let's
the
not
issue.
forget the bromance that went on for months between Putin and what's his name, Trump.
To have an investigation and an independent prosecutor, special prosecutor, but asking him to resign, I think is sort of the nuclear option. But should he be a part of any investigation revolving around Russia, given this new information?
Of course not. But if he's a liar, he shouldn't be in that position. He is the Attorney General. He's going to have to try people who lie.
Joy, but piggybacking on your bromance statement, one thing I find interesting is if you remember that time he said in regards to Putin that he's been a leader far more than our president has been a leader. We have a divided country. Interestingly enough, that was delivered on September 8th. The meeting with this ambassador from Russia, sorry, that was delivered on September 7th. The meeting with it
was the next
day.
Interesting.
So the idea that was a front page story and that didn't come up is concerning to me. But the second thing is when Jed said that members of this committee would meet with ambassadors, the Washington Post reached out to all 26 members. 20 responded, and none of the others had met.
Yeah. You know, instead of Hail to the Chief, they should start singing Back in the USSR.
Sessions has, just to give a statement from Sessions, he has said, I've said whenever it's appropriate, I'll recuse myself. There's no doubt about that. I would say now would be the time.
Then do it. People shouldn't have to ask you to recuse yourself.
You have to.
You know that this is a situation you shouldn't be sitting. You're like the fox in the hen house. Get out.
He must.
So, but some Republicans...
Like you say, they don't believe that. They believe
they believe that everything they're doing is justified and they can find a reason for it. But the greatest thing about all of this is people are looking and saying, well, wait a minute, constitutionally, this is not okay with us. This is not all right with us. That's why, you know, when they talked about Kellyanne is, you know, she didn't really do anything. Yeah, she actually did. She did. And so y'all need to just back up and read the Constitution and see what you're allowed to do. This is a problem. But